What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the S3. I am JD. She is the lovely Lady M. We got a pretty good show for you today, considering the fact that there's really not much going on. There's no NBA basketball schedule going on. There are 0 top 25 college basketball games going on tonight. Like, the
It's
NBA
quiet.
is an all-star weekend.
Crickets.
It's very quiet. But we put together a show for you. I did forget to do one thing. Look, like, we're running a little bit late today. One, because I had to put together a show. Two, because somebody else had to be the adult in the family and actually work a real job. And that wasn't me. So, like, if you're wondering who creates the
Give me
Matrix,
too much credit. That was much more computer problems than it was. Stupid computers would not open StreamYard. Here we are, though.
Yeah. Usually, like, we're on it. Like, we're sitting here like 15 minutes before.
Yeah.
You know?
Staring at each
All
other
right.
through the computer.
So, with that being said, real quick, let me just go ahead and let everybody know that you can actually sign up for our free Launch Your Sports Brand Challenge, which starts on Monday. Learn the skills you need to launch your own sports brand from scratch over a 3-day period. Go to CoachJeffDemers.com and click on the challenge button below our mission statement to join. Also, if you're looking to start your first sports podcast, you can get a 1-month free trial of Podbean's unlimited hosting plan by going to podbean.com/Coach JD. Again, that is spelled JD. Again, I mean, I know a lot of our followers. We're not the sharpest crew in the world. Great people, though. Love them to death. There's a reason why they're listening to me, though. It's because they can relate more to me than they can to anybody else. All righty, then. What is first?
I'm going to go headlines and horrible jokes.
Headlines and horrible dad jokes. Headline number 1. Taylor Swift actually made a pair of $50,000 donations to the family of Lisa Lopez Galvin, the 43-year-old local radio DJ who was unfortunately killed during the shooting at the Chiefs parade just a couple days ago. Sad that happened, especially the fact that it was just a pair of juveniles that, I mean, people scream for gun control. I'm big on the Second Amendment, but at the same time, like, how do we keep these guns out of kids' hands? You know, this is not supposed to be a political show. It's pretty much as far as we're going to dive into that. But the moral of the story is, I mean, how can you hate on Taylor Swift?
That's a tragedy. Like, tragedy. Regardless.
It is. But stop hating on Taylor Swift. She does nice things. Basically is the moral of that story.
Yeah.
First dad joke. You ready for this? If April showers bring May flowers.
Breaking up just a little bit there.
What? No. Am I still broken? Can you hear me?
There's a little bit of robot on occasion. I heard if April flowers bring May showers. I heard that, though.
Can you hear me now?
Not the rest.
Can you hear me now? Let me close down.
I can hear you. Your mouth moving and the words coming out of it are not in sync. Fair warning. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Don't get rolling too hard or we might lose you.
All right. So if April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring?
I have no idea.
Pilgrims. Totally terrible. All right. Headline number 2. Jimmy Garoppolo is suspended 2 games for next season for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy. Garoppolo was using a prescribed medication without having a valid therapeutic use exemption from the league. The Raiders are actually expected to release Garoppolo before the 5th day of the league's new year next month, or he will earn a $11.25 million roster bonus. So expect Jimmy G to be a free agent here, and he will miss the first 2 games for whoever picks him up.
That's a little bit weird if you're going to call it a performance-enhancing substance. It's probably pain medication if I had to guess anything else. That was
I find
prescribed
it
by
weird.
the doctor. I
I
guess
find
they
it
just have to
weird.
put a file directly with the NFL for it or something.
Yeah, you're supposed to let them know any prescriptions that you're taking, but I find it
No.
weird that a licensed doctor who knows what's best for you can prescribe something for your health, and the NFL can say, "Well, you can't
Yeah.
take that."
I mean, insurance can turn around and say
Yeah.
the same thing. We're a bit messed up how we look at medicine.
I thought the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Turns out it was the refrigerator all along.
It's rotten appliances.
Yeah. It's not me at all. It's them. All right. Headline number 3. Tony Stewart puts his team on blast ahead of the Daytona 500 after a winless 2023. Quote, get to victory lane, hang banners, or else.
Oh,
Of
wow.
the 4 drivers on the team, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, Josh Berry, and Noah Gragson, only Briscoe has a win under his belt that actually happened here in Phoenix in 2022. Stewart Haas Racing is currently in an 84 race winless streak.
Yeah. I could see him being a little upset about that. But like those names aren't names that I think of when I think of who's going to be winning races either. I
Right?
think Ryan Preece had a close call last season, didn't he? But he got wrecked hard,
Oh, yeah.
ended up
Especially at
injured.
Daytona. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Next joke. What do you call a factory that makes okay products?
I have no idea.
A satisfactory. Horrible dad jokes, people. We told you from the beginning. Don't tell me how stupid it is.
Just
We already
awful.
know. All right. Jeez. Next up. All right. Headline number 4. The San Francisco 49ers have fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes. 49ers defense was actually ranked top 5 in scoring defense, top 10 in yards per game, third in points per game allowed at 17.5. And they fired him because
Yeah.
apparently they want better.
Well, it sounds like they're using him as the scapegoat for what happened during the big game. And I'm not sure I approve of that because their defense was actually doing a really damn good job for the vast majority of that game.
You know what? We're going to talk about that now here in the first segment. Go ahead and let them know what's up first.
Final thoughts on the big game.
All right. So the Chiefs win. Obviously, everybody knows 25-22 in overtime. The second consecutive title for the Kansas City Chiefs. 49ers players stated that they didn't know the rules of overtime, puts blame on the NFL.
I don't like that either because they explained it multiple times during the big game.
They did. They explained it. The ref comes out and explains it. But here's the thing. You have a head coach whose job it is to know the overtime rules.
Yeah. And plan accordingly.
Flat out.
That wasn't what got them in the end. It wasn't because they didn't understand how overtime was going to work.
Here's my issue with them firing Wilkes, right? The 49ers averaged on the season 17.5 points allowed per game.
Yeah.
They allowed during the game, not overtime, they allowed 19 points. That's right there on their average, pretty damn close to it, right?
Yeah.
They fired him.
Yeah.
But the offense that averages almost 29 points per game only managed to score 22 with
and
overtime.
Yeah.
22 in overtime, but they can't fire the head coach because the head coach is the one calling the plays. So
that screams we needed a scapegoat. So we're going to put all the blame on this guy that actually did his job really well, but that's going to hurt them next season. They're not going to look the same.
Right? Who are you going to bring in that's a better DC out there than unless you're going to bring in Bill Belichick.
I mean, he's technically still available, so maybe, but
that's the only one I could see. Maybe the 49ers ownership is like, we need to bring in Bill Belichick for our defense. Like, and that I would actually agree. Right now, there is no better defensive mastermind
out
than
there.
Bill Belichick.
Available.
You may question his GM status. You might question lately his head coaching, but the defenses have been stellar.
Yeah, no, we, like you said, we kept people to like a field goal or a score. They were beating us with that because our offense couldn't do anything, but our defense was on point. They weren't the problem this past
What'd you think of the halftime show?
It's all right. It was, I mean, with the halftime show, what I liked about it was that they included the like big band college style music for the background music. Like had people on the field marching. That was pretty cool.
I like that. Justin Timberlake did that.
About the only thing.
It looked to me, and I think I mentioned it, it looked to me like Usher was tired. Like he was sweating up a storm before he finished his first song. Like, and you could hear him breathing heavy and everything.
They didn't key his mic up right, so he didn't pick up very well. But that's not necessarily on him. That's more on whoever was doing the sound equipment.
I liked that they brought in, as far as bringing in stars or past stars, Alicia Keys, Jermaine Dupri, Little John, Ludacris, Will.i.am, her, who's an awesome guitarist. As far as bringing in people to play along him,
that was pretty
top
cool.
of the notch. Like it was awesome, right? As far as being a solo artist, like I liked him roller skating around and singing, doing that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like one, I can't sing. Two, I can't roller skate. I damn sure can't do both at once.
Yeah,
especially choreographed. Like not happening. But as far as solo artists go, like I'm still like Justin Timberlake. He's got my top notch up there. Like I even went back and I watched his performance, and his performance was way better.
By the way, that was one of the best performances in the past like decade, though.
Oh, easily.
It's almost unfair to compare other artists.
Not to mention the fact that he performed at halftime when the Patriots were down 28-3 and they came back and won. So
it's a good luck charm on top of it all.
Maybe he may have had something to do with it. Yeah, I'll take that as an answer. Circle gets square. I like it. All right. Moving on. What is next?
Daytona 500 weekend.
All right. First off, initial thoughts from the duels last night. What did you think?
It was so hard for me. Because you were sitting there next to me on the couch. All the cars just looked like they were driving in one place the whole time. So then when people would just like magically switch, I never actually saw it happen. So I was constantly like, how did that car get there?
So basically what happens is the lines will get some momentum. Like the outside lane will start to move, just creep ahead, like going into the turns. Yeah. And then the inside lane will creep back. So you might get a car that goes ahead of nose, which pushes the car behind him ahead of the person to his left of nose. And that's why you kept seeing the jumping up and down, because that was real-time scoring. You could see when they were passing players and when they would move up a spot. That's why you were seeing all that craziness. I knew what to look for. Yeah. But for you, it really wasn't that noticeable.
Well, Bowman was hanging out in the middle of the pack for the vast majority of the race, and he managed to sneak up there and get third, and I never saw his car.
Yeah. It's all about momentum. You just wait for the momentum, right?
Well, speaking of that momentum, that's directly related to that horrible accident in the second
Ryan
duel.
Blaney.
Yeah.
Wow. It wasn't a direct
sucked into the draft out of control. Took out 12 cars, I think they said.
Yeah, I think it was like that. Yeah, something like that. Kudos to NASCAR for the safer barriers. So basically they're made of foam and they're meant to kind of crumble and absorb some of the impact, but it's still a hard hit, right? He didn't hit it directly. He hit it on the right front first.
Yeah.
But
it was still a head-on collision with a wall. So.
Oh, yeah.
And his
Like,
car burst into flames. That's what I was freaking out about. I don't like the fires.
they're fine.
Like,
They actually have
cool.
they have fire extinguishers, not like the ones that you pick up, but just like a rope that you pull that
Puts it out.
can put the fire out.
That's good to know. That'll help keep me calm when I see flames.
Yeah. And one of the ways, you know, for the amateurs that may be watching these races, one of the ways that the driver tells NASCAR that he's good, even if he's a little shaken up, is he puts his net down on his driver's side. As soon as they release the net,
do that. I just assumed it was preparing to get out of the car, not like an actual.
Yeah, if the net's still up, that tells them they need to get there like right now.
Okay.
To the emergency responders.
Blaney did put his net down as soon as his car stopped spinning. So,
but they showed it like at full speed, it just looked like a little. But at slow speed, you can see how much he actually moved up and back.
Yeah,
like it's got a little bit of give to it.
Yeah.
But man, that's just. And then rough. he's doing an interview. 10 minutes later, after being released,
not out of breath, not shaking, not anything. I would have been physically shaking just from the adrenaline.
Kudos to that. Qualifying actually put Joey Logano and Michael McDowell on the pole for Sunday's race. It's gonna be a fun race, but these are one of those races where like it takes a lot of luck. When you have like a road course or maybe a short track, like, or even like something wide open like Kansas.
Yeah.
Right? Where use a little bit more skill to move up and back. You could have all the skill in the world and be taken out in a big wreck and go from third, fourth, fifth, even from the front to the back in like a lap because of one accident. So you need some luck. And I'm going to talk about that here again in a second with the upcoming races and how to build your DraftKings DFS teams, fantasy teams. But yeah, you need a lot of luck. Like you said, you saw Bowman go from like the middle of the pack to third like that. It's all a matter of timing and luck.
McLeod was hanging out in third for a huge portion of his duel, and then he had to drop back because he needed to pit, and then he was just never ever got any forward momentum again.
Yep, he ended up missing out on the Daytona 500. He had no sponsors at all in that car, not one sticker, just the number of the car.
Nothing else. It was crazy to see. Honestly.
So I mean, I was cheering for him, but he didn't make it. Kaz Grala. I found out last night he's actually from Boston. We have a NASCAR driver from Boston. Like what? And he made the Daytona 500. He's starting in like 26th position because of his qualifying time. So.
It was Christopher Bell, right?
No, Kaz Grala.
Kaz Grala. Okay.
Grala. He was the one that McLeod was racing to try and beat to get into the race.
And he's the one that made it.
Kaz Grala is the one that made it. So.
Wasn't there somebody that won a race that surprised us both because they called him a Boston native? I might be getting confused, but I could have sworn it was. Okay, never mind.
Nope. Not yet. He's not that good. Getting into the Truck Series race tonight, Ty Majeski from Thor Sports Racing will be on the pole for tonight's race. Johnny Sauter from Nice Motorsports will be on the outside lane. Sauter actually had the fastest time in practice. Here's the thing, though. Practice, qualifying, they're mostly single car events.
Yeah.
So you can look really fast, but when you have people in the draft behind you,
right,
they can go faster than you by shotgunning around you. So being really fast in practice, it's a good thing. Having a good qualifying is a good thing, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to stay up front. Because of how much back and forth happens. We'll see when we watch the race tonight.
The way they talk about the draft on the Daytona racetrack, I don't know that you'd want to be in the front. I feel like you'd want to be within maybe the top 4 cars, but you'd want to be back behind a car or two for the purpose of being able to draft.
It's all about shake and bake. It's all about shake and bake, babe. Like it's all about just getting up there on the back and then slingshotting around. And there's a lot that you can learn about NASCAR by watching Talladega Nights. that's a false statement all the way around. There's almost nothing you can learn from that. The
Nothing.
same thing with
But it
Days
is
of
amusing.
Thunder.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah. Same thing with Days of Thunder. Days of Thunder. I don't know if you remember it, but when he was actually trying to try out for the race team, and Tom Cruise, easy name to forget. He's not that big of a superstar. He's driving the car and he goes, "I'm going to drop the hammer." You're already in the top gear. Where are you going to? Infinity and beyond? Like, like that's one of the biggest things that I've heard NASCAR drivers laugh about. He's like, "You're already in your top gear. What are you dropping it to?" It looks cool for the movie.
The NASCAR specific stuff in that movie is to look cool for the movie and not accurate.
Yeah,
but it's still a big racing cult film though.
Oh, I love that movie though. I'll watch that movie right now. Right now. Absolutely. All right. So tonight I got the DraftKings DFS for tonight, which by the way, you can catch my DFS builds on CoachJeffDemers.com on the sports page. Just go ahead and go down to click on the button at the top for fantasy sports. It'll take you down to that part of the page. So if you play DraftKings DFS like I do, then absolutely go ahead and jump in and build your team. So I've got Ty Majeski, who again is on the poll. So here's the thing. Let me back up a little bit. When you do your DFS builds, and this is pretty true for most tracks, some tracks like Martinsville and Dover, the really small ones, Bristol, you want them starting more towards the front. You don't want them starting in the back because it's very hard to move up on a short track. But on a track like this, it's okay if you have drivers that are to the back because that driver will get points for you every spot he moves up. So you get points for being at the front and you get points for being at the back by moving up to the front. So if you get somebody that's in like 33rd position and they finish in like 4th, they're going to get you a ton of points, right, for your fantasy team. So I've got a good mix. I have the list, but let me actually pull up my my DraftKings team for tonight. All right. So Truck Series for tonight. Go into DraftKings. By the way, there's 2 DraftKings apps. One's green, that's your betting app. The other one's black, that's your fantasy app. You want the black one, that's the fantasy app. So I've got Garcia starting in 16th. That's Jake Garcia. He's at 7,400. I've got Corey Heim starting in 26, so back of the pack. He's at 10 grand. He's a solid driver. He's in the back. I've got Timmy Hill for Hill Motorsports. He's in the back at 6,200. I've got Johnny Sauter starting on the outside at 7,500. I've got Ty Majeski at 9,400. And I've also got a Cup driver, Corey LaJoy, at 9,500. LaJoy is actually starting in 3rd. So I picked him up to see if he can continue to run up front as well. The Xfinity Series race, they don't qualify till tomorrow. So I'll have my DFS build tomorrow about 15 minutes after they qualify. But I do have the DFS for Daytona 500. And that starts with Cup champion Ryan Blaney, also known as, according to the Netflix special, Ryan fucking Blaney. If you haven't watched the NASCAR, what was it called again? Full Speed. Thank you. NASCAR Full Speed on Netflix. Go watch it before the race on Sunday. You'll have a much better appreciation for a lot of these drivers out there.
Yeah, that's fun.
So for the Cup race, I've got Ryan Blaney. He's starting in the back at 32 because if you wreck, like you can't, if you wreck or make changes to the car that you qualify, if you wreck or make changes to the car that you qualify in, like you change out an engine or something, you go to the back.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
So Ryan Blaney is starting in 32nd. He's at 9,800. I've got Kyle Busch. Hey, Kyle. I've got Kyle Busch at 9,700. He's starting in 34th. Corey LaJoy. I have a feeling he's going to be my superstar for the entire weekend. He is starting in 29th at $6,000. Joey Logano starting on the pole, wicked fast. looked pretty good in the duels as well. He is starting in first at 9,200. I've got Ryan Preece from Stewart Haas Racing. I think if somebody's going to get a win in this race from Stewart Haas Racing, I'm taking Ryan Preece. That would be an awesome story to crash in the crash that he had in the last 500 would have made me quit.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like hurt or not, that would have scared the hell out of me.
Horrible to watch. It's in the special. If anybody needs to see it.
It is. He's starting back in 25th, and I've got Martin Truex Jr. I actually had the pick of the litter basically for middle of the pack guys. I'm taking Martin Truex Jr. He's starting in 27th at 8,200. So it's Blaney, Busch, LaJoie, Logano, Preece, and Truex. And again, if you miss any of these, they are on. I'm keeping all the rushers on there until the end of the day on Sunday, so you can get an idea of the people that you want to start your lineup. What's next?
NBA All-Star Weekend.
All right. I've loved basketball since like mid 80s, since I really started to understand. Like when I got around about 8, 9, 10 years old and started playing around with the big brother in the backyard, stuff like that, I really started getting into it. I'm at the age now where like an all-star weekend, I'm really not interested in watching. I'm really not. Like,
honestly, I think that is more geared towards younger fans.
It has to be.
Is they're going to see all their superstars playing in a game together, and it's fun and exciting, but it means nothing.
You've got you're older, celebrity,
and you have like a bigger concept of the sport. You want to see your team excelling, not necessarily.
Tonight, you've got the celebrity basketball game, and to be honest with you, the coaches for the celebrity basketball game, I think, are more popular than any of the players that they have playing, with the exception of maybe 2 people.
Yeah.
So for the coaches on Team Shannon, you got Shannon Sharp, 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, and you got Peyton Manning. Why Peyton Manning is a coach of a basketball team, I have no clue. The man's got about a half-inch vertical to it, right?
Right.
So I don't know. Okay, on that, you've got a Newell AA, Kai Cenat. Let me know if you've heard of any of these people. Connor Daly, Walker Hayes, Quincy Isaiah, Jewel Lloyd, Micah Parsons, who I actually do know because he plays for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then you've got Lily Singh, who sounds familiar, but I can't place it. All right. And then for the blue team, I guess, you got Team Stephen A, coached by Stephen A. Smith, Lil Wayne, and Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson, by the way, plays for the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA, and she is a multi-time MVP. On this team, you've got Adam Blackstone, who I do know, Natasha Cloud, Jennifer Hudson, I've heard of her, Tristan Jass, AJ McLean, Kwame Onwukie, Meta World Peace, I do know him. That's Ron Artest, who was in the big fight for the Indiana Pacers back in the day, where the Pacers players went into the stands. He became Meta World Peace after he went into the stands and started pummeling
on
the wrong guy. He picked the wrong guy. Like the guy that didn't throw the beer was the guy that got hit. Well, the guy who did throw the beer was sitting there laughing. And then they've got Jack Ryan. I don't know who that is. I should know who that is. I don't know who that is. So the coaches are actually more popular than the players.
Yeah, a little bit.
I am not enticed at all to watch this. Like, at all. They need to bring back Kevin Hart.
Value. It's not going to
bring back Kevin Hart. Let's do it.
Sports value.
So they've got that going on. Tomorrow night, I actually might be interested in checking out the 3-point contest. So the 3-point contest for tomorrow night is Malik Beasley from the Bucks, Jalen Brunson, who's an all-star snub Like, there's no reason why Jalen Brunson should not be an all-star. You got Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, probably the best shooter on planet Earth next to Steph Curry, maybe, but Steph Curry's not in this. So I would say Damian Lillard's the best shooter in here. Lauri Markkanen from the Jazz. You got Donovan Mitchell, also stellar shooter. Like, all these guys can shoot.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of them that stand out. Trae Young from the Hawks. And then you got Kyle Anthony Towns, probably the tallest guy in there, as a center doing the three-point contest, which basically tells you the times. I would have my money. It would probably, for me, it would come down to Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young. Those are my three, and I would pick Damian Lillard to win it all from the Bucks. So, with that being said, and then you've got the AT&T Slam Dunk participants. Our guy from the Celtics, Jaylen Brown. You got Jamie Jaquez Jr. from the Heat. You got Mac McClung from the Miami. We got the white guy. You got the token white guy in the slam dunk contest. Mac McClung. You got the one white guy. And then you got Jacob Toppin from the Knicks. Honestly, like, there's nothing that you can show me in a slam dunk contest unless while they're in the air, they eat the basketball, turn around, and dunk it out of their ass. That would be the only thing that they could possibly do. They jump over cars. They jump over people. Like, if one person's not enough, they put two people, but the guy on top is a midget. Like, they've done everything. Like, I honestly don't know if there is any originality whatsoever left in the slam dunk contest. I was bored last year.
Yeah.
And now they're going to do it again this year. Like, I'm just like, like, who cares? Like, who cares if you can dunk it from the free throw line? Dr. J did it. Jordan did it. That should have been the last time we saw it. It's been done. Right? Like, I'm not intrigued at all by this.
Yeah.
And then you've got the All-Star game, Team LeBron, and I'm pretty much shut off right there. I don't even care who's on the team. Booker, Curry, Davis, Edwards, George, Leonard, Towns. I don't care. There's no defense played. It's going to be, last year the score was like 180-something to 170-something. Really? Really? Like, I just, it's like the defensive players will not make the All-Star team. Like, there is nobody, and maybe Kawhi Leonard from 5 years ago. Right? But Devin Booker doesn't play defense. Steph Curry doesn't lock down anybody. Anthony Davis is a big guy, but like, I'm not scared about going against Anthony Davis. Anthony Edwards, not really. Paul George, not really. Kawhi Leonard, maybe. And Kyle Anthony Towns, he's a big guy that doesn't really do big guy stuff. Again, he's out by the three-point line. Then in the Eastern Conference, you got Adebayo, you got Banchero, Jaylen Brown, who's actually on a team that plays defense, which is why they're number one team in the league. Jalen Brunson, not known for defense, known more for offense. Donovan Mitchell, likewise. Tyrese Maxey, maybe defense. And then Julius Randle, popular pick. That's like, I am not intrigued at all with this. At all with this. Luka Doncic, offense. Kevin Durant, offense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, offense. LeBron James, offense. Man hasn't made an all-NBA defensive team since he was 27. He's 90 now. Do the math. All right. And then Nikola Jokic, maybe a little bit of defense. Mostly offense. Starters for the East, Giannis, Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid's injured. Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum. Tatum's the only guy on there that's actually on a team that plays defense. Again, that's the Boston Celtics. Like, Giannis isn't locking anybody down. He's not.
That's why the score gets crazy. It's just a shootout.
Like, I want to, like, there's nothing for defense to reward defensive playing these days, except for one defensive award at the end. But defensive players, unless you have a complementary offensive game, like Jalen does, like Tatum does, you're not going to get into the All-Star game because it's a popularity vote.
Right.
So I'm not watching this. I honestly don't think I'm going to watch the game. And that's Sunday night. Like I would rather instead, listen up, NBA, instead of watching your guys, your all-stars, I would rather spend 3 days watching cars go in circles. That's the gist of it. I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to write an article about it. You probably will not see an article about the NBA on my website unless Celtics win it all. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for that. What's next?
In other news.
Okay, so we're going to have some fun with this. So we've got a new sponsor coming on board in the next week called Mamba Hot Sauce. No S, not Mambas. Mamba Hot Sauces. All right? So they are going to be a segment sponsor called NASCAR You Got Sauce, where I am going to make a complete fool out of myself. Lady M, Ms. Marnie, am I good with hot sauces?
No.
Okay. No. Tell me why, and this should tell everybody who the smarter of the two is in case you haven't figured that out yet. Tell me why I am volunteering live on air to actually taste these hot sauces. All right. Anybody's like, well, what's the big deal? These are just hot sauces. Let me tell you about Mamba hot sauces. All right. They have a rating scale that they use that are skulls and crossbones.
Yeah. They have ghost pepper sauces. They've got habanero sauces. And like, I'm kind of a wiener too. I can't.
Let me tell you,
like habanero is the like right past where it is acceptable for me. I can only.
Let me tell you what they're sending us. Okay, we picked 4. They're sending 2 extra special. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to the owners and the cook, Karen and Neil. Neil's the cook. He's from the Bronx. Right? I asked him who his favorite team was. He said, I don't want to know. I know now. Thank you. All right. Neil's the chef. Yeah. And I have a feeling that he personally picked these out because he knows that what I'm going to do to start off each segment over the next 6 weeks is to basically take a bite of chicken that is covered in their sauce. All right. So this is what we have. Yep. Now you asked for the jalapeno verde, right?
Yep.
The chili chipotle.
Yep.
The jalapeno.
Yep.
And I asked for the cayenne. Is it cayenne or cayenne?
Cayenne.
Cayenne. Okay. Those are the ones I asked for. They also included the ghost.
Of course they did.
And the Mamba number 10 USA special. Guess which one has a 5 skull and crossbones rating?
The one that has special in the name?
It's special. It's so special. I just have a feeling that there's I can just picture a Yankee fan going, just waiting for me to just like, oh, that moo.
You have to make sure like you're wearing your Red Sox cap while you do it.
I don't know if I want to embarrass Red Sox Nation like that. Like, because I know there are a ton of Sox fans out there that can put down some food. Right? Some like real good food. Like I'm from the area and I even hate seafood, which you will rarely hear anybody say that from that area.
That caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie. Like not even a clam chowder, huh?
I'm one of the very first. But let me tell you something about these packages. Okay, 3 of them that they are sending us: the Ghost, the Mama number 10, and the jalapeno. Are part of a package that they call in their website the Mamba Almost Burn My Face Off Trio. That just screams yummy to me. That just screams get in my belly.
Probably put it in my mac and cheese. I like
the Mamba. It's the very first one. Almost Burn My Face Off Trio.
Yeah.
And then like I found like the jalapeno verde, which is a 3. It's a 3 skull and crossbones. That's part of the Don't Burn My Face Off trio. Yeah, good job picking that one. Like they even have the Burn My Face Off trio. Like what part of Burn My Face Off says this should be awesome to taste?
I'm telling you, hot sauce people are a different breed. They really are.
This is why like NASCAR fans need to get their stuff from here, because I've covered dozens of live NASCAR races over the years as a member of the media, and just going through like where the fans are at and they're cooking and stuff. This is the type of stuff I picture them cooking with.
Yeah.
Like the Burn My Face Off trio has the Jamaican Jalokia, the Blasian Buy-In. These are all 5 skull and crossbones, by the way, and the Trinbago Scorpion.
Scorpion is the name. All right.
This just looking at that got me wondering, like, what does a bottle need to say for it to scream, "Get away from me"? Seriously, like, I mean, if you just pick it up, let me go ahead and get some of the exploding Uranus. Let me get some of that. Let me get some of the acid tears. Can I do some of that? What about Welcome to the Shit Show? That sounds yummy. Can I get some of that? Please.
I'm telling you, it's like a cult.
Like, oh, that's nice. If I get those 3, if you get those 3, you also get a free bottle of Melted Children. Please, let me go ahead and have some of that on my food.
Melted
right?
Children. God.
Here's the part that I love. When I was talking to Karen yesterday, she's like, "Oh, we can give you a list of foods that these go great with."
Awesome.
I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to taste the actual food.
Well, it depends if you put your amounts in, right? Like, I'm not going to be dumping tablespoonfuls at a time in anything that we eat.
No, it's just like, you know how when we have chicken, it's those sizes of chicken that I want. I'm going to try one or two in those sizes of chicken. She cuts them up basically in nuggets, right? And then we have the sauce from there.
You get a higher sauce to chicken ratio that way. So when I'm making lemon pepper chicken, just to be clear, it's like something simple and easy.
Your lemon pepper chicken's good. See, that's my thing. That's my thing when it comes to, like, when you go to B-Dubs, and I just learned this the last time we went because I was stupid and didn't ask your advice first. But the names at the top of the list are the hottest ones. And I chose like number 6 out of 30. And then as I bite into it, my eyes get big. She's like, "Oh, yeah, they list the hottest ones at the top first." Thank you for telling me. I appreciate that. Because hot honey barbecue didn't really
seem like it was going to be hot, but it was.
Right. I love honey barbecue.
Let me try a piece.
This was number 6 on the list. What Mamba is sending us seems like it should be 10 steps above whatever B-Dubs
probably
has.
Be up there by the description where they have anybody that knows Buffalo Wild, so Blazed or whatever the hottest one is. I'm guessing.
You know what? If I had a hot sauce company, I would
sweat just having it close to their face.
Yeah. If I was running my own company, I would come up with names just to completely throw people off. Like, ooh, let me try some Happy Clown. Let me try some of that. Let me try some Smiling Babies. Yes. Let's try some assorted balloons. Can we do that?
Unicorn farts, yeah.
Unicorn farts, yes. Let me try some of that.
I feel like we warned you fart was in the title.
No. I want to have titles that don't give any warning at all. Like, these are obvious. Ghost. What's this one? Mucho Mex Habanero.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't do habanero. It's too spicy for me.
Blazing Buy-In. It's got the picture of like a bull and horns, yellow and blue bull. Nothing about that says, okay, how about Green Reaper, which is also one of their sauces?
Yeah.
It's got a picture of the freaking Reaper on the bottle. That sounds like a good night for me. Let me try that.
Pass.
They're sending us again. They're sending us Ghost, Mama Number 10 Special Edition, Jalapeno, Jalapeno Verde, and the Cayenne. Right?
The
like,
chili chipotle.
And the chili chipotle. Thank you. Like, okay, so here's the next question. Like, the majority of those are 3 skull and bones. Like, we tried to ask for the light stuff.
Yeah.
Or what they would consider to be light. The Yankee fan who wants me to be in just complete misery he's the one that I'm pretty sure he's the one that chose the Mamba number 10 special edition 5 skull and crossbones, which, by the way, it's got a mamba on the bottle. The snake,
yeah,
on the bottle. So my question is, should I start out on one of the lowest levels or just jump right into the hottest level? I'm thinking I should start on the lower levels.
If it was me, I would do the hottest one first, just so I knew it would be all better after that.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so like I even asked. I was talking about
like
this.
You could save the ghost pepper for last if you want to be crazy. Like start with the mamba, end with the ghost pepper.
I asked this question to Karen, and she's like, "Well, you should try it ahead of time." And no, because I want it to be genuine. At the same time, though, thoughts in my mind, I don't want to die. Okay, there's a thing here about like how crazy can JD get. So basically, they're on board. There are new sponsors, starting with the NASCAR You Got Sauce segment. So I will be trying these at the beginning, just one at the beginning of our NASCAR, because we have 2 shows a week. So it's at the beginning of our NASCAR You Got Sauce segment, right?
Yeah.
I then have to finish the segment.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, look, I tell you all the time, one of us has to be the adult in this relationship. Where were you from keeping me from making this decision?
Hey, you did all of this and then came to me and said,
this is what happens when you leave me alone in the office. I come up with these crazy ideas and then run with them.
Yep.
Like there should be just like a 6th sense in your mind where you'll be working and then you'll be like, I feel like he's about to do something stupid. Like, let me run up and check on him. Yeah. This is what happens.
Yeah, for working in there with the door closed all day.
Mamba, by the way, mambahotsauces.com. Go check them out. You won't believe how affordable these prices are right now for hot sauces. These are unbelievable.
If you Google search Mamba sauce, it comes right up.
Does it?
Needs to hear that. Yeah. I had no problems finding their site the other night.
All right. mambahotsauces.com. They will be up on the site on our new partner page, which launches on Monday. Yep. Speaking of which, Just Good Vibes sending us a couple tumblers for the S3. So shout out to Just Good Vibes. We will have more information on them next week. So I've been walking around drinking with this, like, what is this, like a 60-something ounce bottle that we got from SeaWorld?
Probably. Yeah.
Like I like it, but it's a little too much to be lugging around with me. So we're going down to the 40 ounces from Just Good Vibes. Yeah. Nice, awesome laser etched tumblers.
I'm excited to get to see them.
She's doing for them. So yeah, cool. So hopefully we'll get those here in the next day or two. You saw it just before the show started. It may be in our mailbox now because
I went to check the mail and I'm walking back to the house for the show and the postman drove by. So
postman, I think it's post person now.
There was actually a man in that car.
I know, but I don't think you're still allowed to call them a man.
Mail carrier.
Okay. That has sexual innuendos. Oh, yes. The postal worker who drives the truck.
The USPS truck drove by me.
The mail depositor. Are we even allowed to say mail, or is it like letter depositor? right? Like I don't even freaking know anymore. I don't know anymore.
Mail.
Look, we kind of
MAIL. I'll spell it so no one can be offended.
no NBA schedule for this weekend outside of the NBA All-Star game. No top 25 games in college basketball to talk about. Yeah. We kind of threw this show together. I think it went pretty good. Very excited, quote unquote, very excited to have some Mamba hot sauce next week. I don't know if I'm going to try the Mamba number 10 special edition just right out, man. Maybe I already know if I put it out to our fans, they're going to say, try that one first because they all want to see me in pain. Love you guys, by the way.
You can put a vote up if you want. In the
honestly, I would
Facebook
vote
group
for that, but I think I'm going to start with like the cayenne.
Yeah.
Like I will give a true review of the cayenne. And I think, it's got 3 skull crossbones. How bad could it be? Right? It looks like a very happy bottle.
Well, the sauce that I use to make buffalo sauce for us is cayenne based.
All right.
You have to give you some context.
That works.
It's not going to have a bunch of like melted butter in it or anything cutting it down when you do it. But
all right. That's enough on them. MambaHotSauces.com. Go ahead and check them out. I'll be making a fool out of myself, sweating to the oldies, I guess, next week. So, wow. Yeah. Shout out to my favorite Yankee fan. Jesus. What the hell am I doing? What's the heck? Oh, the last thing. Dave Grohl's in the news. Why I'm wearing my Nirvana t-shirt. What did Dave Grohl do? Tell everybody.
He is the lead singer of Foo Fighters. He was the drummer of Nirvana.
Yep. And he spent 24 hours cooking for the homeless on Super Bowl Sunday. So shout out. He's just one of my favorite people all time, but I've loved him since he was on Nirvana. And in his name, what I'm going to do for everybody now is I am actually going to turn this camera around and you are going to get a shot of me playing a song from Nirvana on the drums. So let's go. Oh, damn, we're out of time. So that may have to wait for another time.
I was like, don't react. Where's he going with it?
Come on. Look, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near trying to get on camera right now. But I will say this, though. The reason why I decided to try and do this, and now that like we're starting to check things off the list, I'm going to get a little bit more devoted. You're going to hear a lot more noise in the house. Coming soon. We've got an electronic drum set, so like she'll hear the tapping and stuff. She'll hear like this, maybe not so loud, but that's pretty much what you hear when somebody's playing an electronic drum set. Only I can hear what's actually coming out of the drums through my headphones. So Foo Fighters, I love AC/DC, a huge they're probably my favorite 2 bands. I would put AC/DC number 1. I would put Foo Fighters number 2 on my list of favorite bands, and many others for a different show. But let's watch some truck race starting here pretty soon. I'm going to get this show up and edit it and get it on the website so I don't miss too much. But let's go racing. Let's do it. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. We will see you next week when I am ready to just burn out my lungs and my stomach, apparently. MambaHotSauces.com. Check them out. My kid's so stupid. Why am I doing this?